In the 3-2 millennia BC, tall people of European type with broad faces lived in central Russia. They belonged to one community, from which the Balts, the Germans, and the Slavs were later separated. This archaeological culture has been called the battle axe culture, because of their custom of placing stone axes in men's graves. They also buried animals, mostly bears and dogs. They honored them as ancestors of their clan. The people of the battle axe culture were nomadic, built light dwellings, raised sheep and goats, and made bone and stone hoes. They transported their possessions on wagons and carts. Archaeologists and linguists have established that the Slavs separated from the ancient European community in the 4th century of the 1st millennium BC. According to one version, this happened in the valley between the Vistula and Odra rivers in the territory of modern Poland, which became conventionally considered the ancestral home of the Slavs. The fact that the Slavs lived in Europe was unexpectedly confirmed by the Old English language. There were many Slavicisms in it: the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes, who settled the British Isles in the IVV century, had previously lived on the Danish peninsula Jutland and the lower Elbe. Their neighbors were Slavs. At the beginning of the new era, the Slavs began to settle to the south and east. In the 6th century, they already made up the bulk of the population of the Avar Khaganate, a state founded in Central Europe by the Avars. By this time, they carried within them a powerful life potential. Ahead of them was a colorful and harsh history of creating a state and turning it into a mighty empire. The present, Great Slavic Migration, was triggered by a cold snap that began at the end of the 4th century. The coldest for the past 2,000 years was the 5th century. At that time, the water level in the North and Baltic Seas rose, and rivers flooded coastal settlements. Because of flooded fields and growing swamps, people began to leave the Vistula-Oder region, their ancestral territory, in large numbers. By the 7th to 8th centuries, they had crossed the border of modern Russia. In the middle of the 1st millennium AD, the Eastern Slavs settled mainly on the territory of present-day western and central Ukraine and southern Belarus. The Slavs were primarily agriculturalists. By the 8th century, the East Slavs had settled a significant part of the East European plain, reaching in the east to the lands of the Finno-Ugric tribes of the Meri and Maroma, and in the north to the shores of Lake Ilmen and the Volkhov River, which connects the Ilmen with Lake Ladoga. In the 9th century, by the time of the formation of the Old Russian state, the territory of present-day Central Russia had a mixed population. The indigenous at that time were Finno-Ugrians and Balts. The foreign, Slavs and Varangians. In the tale of bygone years, the chronicler listed the tribes, giving tribute to Russia, the whole, Merja, Maroma, Cheremes, Mordva, Chud, Perm, Pechera, Yam, Litva, Zimigols, Kors, Narova and Livs. The East Slavs lived still in clans, in full harmony with the living and animated world of nature that surrounded them. They worshipped pagan gods, on whose will, as it was believed, depended the established order on the earth, honored the souls of ancestors, being sure that these souls influenced their lives. All early medieval authors who wrote about the Slavs noted their extreme abundance. Demographic statistics of X centuries for ancient Russia is extremely conditional. There were named figures from 4 to 10 million people for Eastern Europe as a whole, including for Czechia, Hungary and Poland 5 million. Demographic growth was hampered by a range of natural and social factors. Wars, famine and disease took away, according to researchers' estimates, about 1/3 of the population. The Tale of Bygone Years preserved the news about 2 severe famines in the 11th century, which became the causes of major popular unrest in northeastern Russia. Because of the high mortality rate, the average lifespan of an Eastern European was 34 to 39 years, while the average female age was a quarter shorter than that of a male. As girls rapidly lost health through early marriage, between 12 and 15 years of age. The result of this state of affairs was a small number of children. In the 9th century there were on average 1 or 2 children per family. In the absence of crowded towns, which in later times weakened the marital isolation of peasant society, the range of individuals in Slavic settlements who entered into marital union was very limited, which had a bad effect on heredity. To avoid genetic degeneration, individual tribes resorted to bride kidnapping. According to the annals, this method of marriage was customary among the Drevlians, Radomics, Viatics, and Northmen. Thank you for viewing the content. By understanding each other better, we make the world safer together.
Привет, привет, привет. Привет, привет, привет. Как дела? Как дела? Как дела? Привет, привет, привет. Привет, привет, привет. Привет. Как дела? Привет. Как дела? Как дела? Как дела? Как дела? Как твои 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 дела? Привет. Как твои дела? Доброе утро. 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 Как ваши дела? Добрый день. Добрый день. Добрый день. Добрый день. Как ваши дела? Добрый день. Как ваши дела? Добрый вечер. Добрый вечер. Добрый вечер. Добрый вечер. Как ваши дела? Привет. Привет. Как дела? Как твои дела? Доброе утро. Добрый день. Добрый вечер. Как ваши дела? Как ваши дела? Как ваши дела?
The creation of the video book was made possible by the enthusiasm and cooperation of two PhDs, linguistics and engineering, whose interests are in the cultural diversity of the world and who are keen to contribute to the understanding of each other's cultures to help make the world harmonious, friendly and safe. Thank you for viewing the content. By understanding each other better, we make the world safer together. If you liked our material, you can put a like and subscribe to the Pearl of Cultures channel by clicking the button below so you don't miss other informative videos. Or become a sponsor of the Pearl of Cultures channel, thus supporting our steps to create a safe civilizational space.